Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Friday, February 10th. Happy Friday, everyone. It's 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we'll get started shortly. Just a couple of things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right. A few more things here. It's good. It's good. Solid. All right, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, cool. Link's been sent out. We got a few moments for people to make their way in. All right, cool. Looks like people are making their way in right now. So good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today's Friday, February 10th. It is 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes. I'll give it a few more moments for people to make their way in. And then once people join in, we'll start off with our analysis for today. So let's get a few more moments. And I think we should be good to go. I'm just going to post this on one more place or Instagram real quick. All right, people are still making their way in. All right, so let's see who's here so far. Morning, Ben Hartwig. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Peter. Morning, Martha. Morning, Song. Morning, Christian. Morning, everybody. So it looks like people are still making their way in right now. Market is opening in about 4 minutes, guys. I look at the overall bias on the higher time frames. Obviously, you can see over here that it is currently, I mean, it was bearish, but now the 10-minute is starting to shift to the upside. Morning, Gary. So I'll give it a few more moments for people to continue to make their way in. And then once we've had majority of people here, start analyzing the charts for you guys. All right, looks like we're good to go. So who else is here? Morning, Jamie. Morning, Maria. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Karen. Morning, Alan. Morning, Kevin. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So it looks like majority of you guys are here. So let's go ahead and analyze the charts real quick. So looking over here on the higher time frames, you can see that price is technically bearish. However, the 10-minute here starts to shift to the upside. So I'm identifying that because you can see here on the 1 hour that price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red and the pivots are angling down. Same with the 30-minute. You're looking for the same thing. As you can see right here, price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red and the pivots are angling down. However, here on the 10-minute, price was below the pivots. Now it's above the pivots. However, the trend meter is still red and the pivots are now angling up. So with that said, we don't have an overall trend, so there's no breakout 2.0 for the day. But my guess is that price is likely to possibly come back down. You know, we might get a rejection off the pivots here on the 1 hour. And then same with this over here on the 30-minute. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes or so. But at the moment, we currently do not have a confirmation of reversal just yet. However, looking here on the shorter time frames, you can see that on the shorter time frames, price is actually starting to reverse slightly. So you can see here on the 10-minute price is above the pivots, 5-minute price is above the pivots, and the 1 minute is clearly bullish here. It's been bullish since 5:10 a.m. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see if it holds or if it comes back down. But at the moment, we don't have a direction of trend. Looking over here on the charts, let me see if there was any news this morning. So looking over here for Friday, February 10th, we do have news here at 7 o'clock. We have high impact news, prelim UOM consumer sentiment and prelim UOM inflation expectations. So basically inflation news right here, high impact at 7 o'clock. And we have Fed member Waller speaking at 9 o'clock. So that's pretty much it, aside from the heavier news later today, federal budget balance and Fed member Harker speaking at 1 o'clock towards the close. So we basically have news here at 7 o'clock, and that's about it, but it's going to be high impact. So that's likely to push price around. Mark that up right there. But other than that, I think we are pretty much good to go, guys. So market is opening in about a minute, guys, actually 20 seconds. We'll see where price goes. And then from there, we'll determine, which direction we decide to continue trading in. Hey, John, how's it going? Morning. Morning, Ruin. Morning, Alan. Morning, everybody. Yeah, Maddie said CNBC reported all stocks are falling. Might get push up, then dump. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. So yeah, looking over here at CNBC, let's go ahead and refresh this real quick. All the indices are currently bearish right now across the board. So I do think price will come back down, like Maddie said. This push up right now might just be temporary, but eventually price may come right back down. So we'll see what happens here shortly. Let me check my FX book as well. Yeah, there's just one news event here at 7. That's about it. All right, guys, market is now open. Let's see where this ends up going. Yeah, this might be a fake out. Price might just come straight back down. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. There's New York Stock Exchange open price. I'll put the requirements for the strategy over here, guys. We currently don't have an overall trend yet. That's at least confirmed. So we got to wait for that to confirm before we can take any entries here. So the first strategy we'll be looking for is the momentum scalp failure. Second strategy we'll be looking for is going to be the momentum scalp variation. And the third strategy we'll be looking for is the momentum scalp. So just these 3 strategies right here. So let's take a look at pretty much all the other time frames right now. So looking over here on the 10-minute, we currently, it still hasn't confirmed yet. You can see the trend meter down below is still red. Price is starting to shift to the upside, but it hasn't really confirmed yet. So price might be coming right back down. Same with the 5-minute over here. Price just started to turn bullish, but it was blue right before, so it might just come right back down. We just got to wait and be patient for some sort of confirmation for trend before we can look for entry here. Right now, we currently don't really have a trend. So until we have that trend, we're going to keep all these charts open. Once we have a trend confirmed, then we can go ahead and maximize one screen so that we can focus on that one screen there. But at the moment, we don't have a trend right now. So we're looking for this 10-minute here to confirm. If this confirms that it's bullish, then we'll confirm here on the 5, then we'll confirm here on the 1, which is obviously bullish right now. And then from there, we can just go ahead and maximize the screen. But for the moment, we just don't have anything confirming just yet. Hey, Shannon, how's it going? Morning. All right, so let's see where this ends up going. So, all right, guys, today's Friday, so just keep in mind that Friday is one of the riskier days. The riskier days to trade is going to be Friday and Monday. Reason for Friday being risky is because price may be going one direction, and then as we get towards the end of the session, a lot of people are going to be exiting for the weekend, right? So expect a big spike of volatility at the end as people pull out of the market as we enter the weekend. It is Super Bowl weekend here in the US too, so expect a lot of gambling going on. So a lot of people are not just gambling on the game, they're also gambling the market. So we'll see where this ends up going, but for the moment, price is still pushing up. So basically what we're waiting for here is for the 10 minutes to confirm. it looks like it's pretty much confirmed for the most part. Or we gotta wait for this candle here to close. So if this 10-minute candle closes above here and it stays green with the trend meter, then we can confirm that price is shifted into a bullish trend, right? If we have that confirmation that price is shifted, then at that point, we can possibly start looking for some buys here. So let's give it a few more moments for these candles here to play out. And then once they play out, then we can confirm whether we're going to be looking for buys or whether there may be a possible reversal here. So it's got to give it some time here. This candle still has 5 minutes on it, or 6 minutes actually. So it's got a lot of time until it closes. But for the most part, if price just stays above there, it looks like we may we might be looking for a overall buy for the day. But again, it's just a matter of time, guys, until we can confirm that. Let me turn on my alerts here. So we're basically looking for this 1 minute candle or this 1 minute chart to provide a sell signal. So here's what we're looking for, guys. We already currently have somewhat of a bullish bias. So what we're really looking for here is we're looking for this 1 minute chart to provide a sell signal. If we get a sell signal here and volumes below average, then we may have a possible entry for a momentum scalp failure. Again, as I mentioned, I don't typically take this trade first. I wait for this trade to play out. And then once it plays out, if it continues with a momentum scalp variation, then from this point, I will take this trade here. However, I want to make sure that this thing's actually playing out. It can't be invalid, so all the requirements have to be met. The red flags aren't the biggest deal, but the main thing is that all the requirements here are met. I think the requirement that typically is not met is the volume. So we're pretty much looking for this to confirm here. Yeah, Maddie said target price is session. So if price does come back down, I think target price is opening price first and then the sessions. So if price does come back down and it retraces or possibly reverses, the target price point will be this blue line here. This is going to be a first target price point. And then the second one, like Maddie mentioned, is the sessions down here. But since everything here is bullish, or not everything, the higher time frames here are still bearish. So you can see here on the 1 hour and 30 minute, this is still bearish because price is still heading down, right? Trend meter is still red, price is still below the pivots. Pivots are still angling down. Same with the 30 minute over here. The 30 minute can actually reject off this pivot here and come back down. So on the higher time frames, we're looking for a sell. Shorter time frames, we're looking for a buy. But I mean, price can easily just shift back down and reverse on us. So that's why you don't want to be too keen on entering a trade too quickly. You want to make sure that you wait for that confirmation before you take entry, because the last thing you want to do is enter a sell here or enter a buy, and then price ends up completely correcting back to the downside. So we have a huge red candle right here with a sell signal. Check the volume down below to see if it's above average. If it crosses that blue line right there, it's going to be above average, which it is. So this blue line here indicates that this sell signal here, which could have possibly been a momentum scalp failure, is no longer valid because the volume here is above average, right? So this cannot be a momentum scalp failure. If price swings back above, I'm not going to be taking that for a momentum scalp variation, at least not right away, because there's no confirmation here that we have this momentum scalp failure. So if this candle closes above the green pivot here, this is technically a momentum scalp variation, but I will not be taking it right away if it closes, because I typically want this here to initiate the move, and then I want this to follow it. But since this one here can initiate because volume is above average, there's not going to be an entry for a momentum scalp failure. So just wait for price to close above here. I'm not going to take it right away. So what I'm going to do is I'll watch it. If price ends up closing above here, I'll let it retrace back a little bit, and then I'll possibly place like a buy stop there, and I'll catch it as it swings back up. But I'm not going to enter it right away like what happened on, I think, Tuesday. Some people entered it right away. I didn't enter it right away, so I didn't eat that loss. But the people who entered it right away ended up eating that loss because it wasn't followed by a momentum scalp failure. I typically want all of these here to line up together. And if I don't get that trade, then that's completely fine. I'll wait for the next one. So there's no specific entry here yet. There's a possible entry here for a momentum scalp variation. We have an overall trend that's bullish. Looking here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10 minute, actually the trend meter down here hasn't even closed. So there's actually no overall trend yet. So there is not going to be a momentum scalp variation here, at least not yet. So, it's got to be patient, guys, and wait for these confirmations here to line up. See David over here. He said, see you on Monday. Hopefully the next week's market will behave. Yeah. So David over here took some profits. He's currently up 77.75 for the day. He locked in his profit goal. So now he's done. So solid work right there, David. Just a disclaimer, guys, I did take one trade last night. I did see a solid entry. I had to close out early because it got close to 10 o'clock. My cutoff for trading Asia session is 10 o'clock. So I did pull out for half profit. I'm currently up about 500 across all my accounts, but that's just a small trade that I took. So later on, when I post my profits, you guys will see that I do have a previous win. And that's because I took a buy position, or sorry, not a buy position. I took a position last night. I think it was a sell actually, during Asia session. But that's not even count towards the results, of course. All right, so price is coming back down. This is perfectly fine. Target price point was right here, opening price. And here we go as price comes down. Look at where I circled right here on the 30 minutes. See where price rejected directly off the pivots. What I mentioned earlier played out perfect. So I mentioned, okay, price can probably reject off the pivots right here. If this here closes, then odds of price coming down further are very likely. So these candles here still have a lot of time. The 30-minute here has 20 minutes and the 1 hour candle over here has 30 minutes as well. So if we get that rejection off the pivots and price actually closes below, then odds of it dropping further are very likely. So at the moment, we don't have a confirmation of trend. I'm just going to go ahead and leave all the charts up over here until we get a confirmation of trend. Once we get that, we can start looking for entry. Well, we just don't have that yet. All right, so we're just going to have to wait. Today's Friday, so don't force anything, guys. Definitely want to be as patient as possible. Yeah, exactly. Peter said no FOMO. All right, so price is coming back down right here. It's a good sign because the higher time frames are still bearish. So price is just correcting to where it's supposed to go. I wouldn't necessarily call this a reversal. I'll just call this a correction because price has been bearish on the higher time frames. All right, target price point right there that Maddie mentioned, sessions. Price now reached the sessions. Let's see if price ends up continuing down or if it starts to bounce off here. So you're kind of getting conflicting views here because on the higher time frames, you're getting a rejection from the top part. And on the lower time frames, you're getting rejection from the bottom part, right? It's rejecting off the pivots now this way. So this may be the turning point, whether price comes down further or whether it continues back up. My guess is that price is going to continue dropping lower. It might reject off this opening price and then come back down further. That's my guess because the higher time frames here typically lead, and they're obviously leading right here, right now, right? So we'll see. No guarantee of direction yet, but my guess is that, obviously price will likely continue dropping. The 10-minute here never shifted, pushed up slightly for the fake out, and then now it's coming right back down. All right, we got a pending sell signal here on the 5. Next target price point is going to be the sessions down below right there. But still no room for, official entry at the moment. All right, we'll see where this goes. Price is right at the sessions. Yeah, my anticipation here is that price is going to come down and test the next sessions down below right here. At some point, it might not happen right now, but eventually it will. We're having a price rejection off the 5-minute and 10-minute pivots though right here. So you want to be careful. You don't want to just hop into a trade right away without confirming anything because I do expect price to come down, but it might not be a smooth move to the downside just yet. I will be looking for some possible speculative moves to the downside. Eventually, it's just going to be a matter of time because I do expect price to come down here. So I'm going to be looking for a couple 100 pip moves as price drops below. Again, this is more of an advanced way of trading, guys. So I'm not necessarily going to be recommending anybody take this unless you guys know what you're doing. But I'm looking for price rejections and looking for price to come down further. Events, spec ops, event harvested. So I mentioned this yesterday, guys, in the group. I mentioned that, I might be, or at some point, maybe we'll do like maybe one day a month where I'll be taking some, it's just a speculative trading day where I'll take a bunch of trades, like not answer any questions and just pretty much trade. Because you guys will see that, when I do that, I typically make a ton of profits. I make like almost double, if not triple my profits, like I did on Monday. So, eventually we'll maybe set up a day like that. I know a lot of you guys want me to do that. So you guys can just watch me really just trade. Cause, when I start to get in the zone, I can like really identify these trades here without having to explain too much to you guys. And it's kind of easy, like typically when I'm looking around here, like for example, I do expect price to come down. And the reason for that is because I see the rejections here on the 1 hour, 30-minute, time frames. The only problem here is that like if you look over here on the 10, we have opposite confluences, right? So the 10-minute over here is showing rejections from the bottom, but the 30-minute here is showing rejections from the top, and then same with the 1 hour over here. So you're not really having a confluence of rejections here. What I would like to see here on the 10 is I'd probably like to see the 10-minute here close somewhere below, and then once it closes below, see it retrace back up, and then you start to see the rejection from the top side, right? If you see the rejection from the top side, then you're going to get a top side rejection on the 10, 30-minute, and 1 hour, and then you go down to lower time frames like the 5 and 1, and then you'll see even more rejections from these points as well. So, just keep that in mind when you guys are looking, but you guys can see how choppy the market is right here, right? Like there's no confirmation yet. So although I do think price will come down, there's no confirmation yet that price is going to be coming down yet. So like typically you want to wait for that confirmation before you start to look for some entries here. So as you can see right here, this big spike right here happened right back up, just a bunch of fake outs, right? So that's why I'm not really looking to take anything yet. And this is why I'm telling you guys that we're waiting for some confirmation here before we take any of these entries, because we need an overall trend. Looking over here on the 5, there's no overall trend, right? Price is still below. I mean, it's still above. It hasn't really closed below here. But if it does close below, then, obviously we'll be looking for an entry. So just waiting for some more confirmation here, but at the moment, still nothing for us to take. And this is what you don't want to get caught up in. And you can see prices coming right back down, right? So just got to be patient with these moves here. The main thing I'm looking for is really the confirmation of trend. Once we have a confirmation of trend here, we can start looking for sells, but we just don't have that yet. So looking over here on the 10, price is technically long-term bearish. 5-minute over here, price is technically still bullish. And the 1-minute over here is technically still bullish. So bullish, bullish, bearish, higher time frames, bearish, bearish, bearish. So I think price is going to come back down eventually at some point. But yeah, right now specifically, I don't really have a direction of price just yet. Price again right here is testing the sessions and the pivots. Right here again on the 5, you have a rejection off the top pivot. The 10-minute here still hasn't confirmed yet. I think this is the main one. I think once the 10-minute here actually closes below the pivots, then we'll start to have, a better idea of direction. But at the moment, we just don't have that yet. So we currently have the rejection here on the higher time frames, right? Rejection on the 30, rejection on the 1 hour. But we don't have that rejection here on the 10 yet. We need price to actually close below here. It has about 2 minutes left on this candle. Once those 2 minutes have passed, then we can start looking for, well, not really, you can start looking for some speculative moves to the sell side. Because once you have that confirmation of rejection, you have it on the higher time frames. You have it on the 1 hour, you have it on the 30-minute, then you have it on the 10-minute, and then from there, we will start to see these other ones start to follow. And the reason why I'm not really looking to take anything, well, I'm like being super conservative right now, is because I don't even have my accounts ready. So my FTMO accounts, I'm still waiting for my 400K account to confirm. Like once they send me my login details, once I have that account, then I can start taking some trades. Because right now I'm just trading on my MFFs, and I don't really want to risk too much on those specifically. So I'm just looking over here at MT4, trying to see if there's anything that I can really take a look at, but there's nothing for us to take right here. All right, so as I mentioned before, guys, the main thing we're looking for here is for these higher time frames to confirm, right? We have the top rejection on the 30, top rejection on the 1 hour. But that's pretty much it. There's nothing else for us to look at here. We do have a top rejection, but we're looking for the 10 here to drop below. So this is kind of what I'm looking for, guys. I'm looking for price to come back down here, close below here, and then we'll get that top wick rejection when it comes back, and then it'll just come back down from there. But these higher time frames are still leading. We just need this 10 here to actually be on board. All right. Man, this whole week has kind of been trash, right? There hasn't been any direction here. So now we're looking for price to maybe come back up. If this is the case here where price comes back up, then we may start looking for a buy, but you can see here back on the 1 minute, price starting to come back down. So basically, we need to confirm the direction of trend. 1 minute still bullish, 5 minutes still bullish. The 10-minute here is being stuck. I think this is the worst time frame right here. The 10 minutes being stubborn right now, because it's not really choosing a direction. It's not staying up here. It just keeps pushing up and it comes back down. Once it gets down to this point, it doesn't stay below here. It just ends up spiking right back up. So we'll see. We just got to give it some time, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. We have news coming up right here at 7 o'clock. Once we have news at 7 o'clock, that'll probably give us a better idea as to, you know, what's going to play out moving forward. Because I think we'll get some volatility push right here at 7. It's high impact news, inflation news, of course. Consumer sentiment. All right. Nothing here yet. Here, let me just clean up the charts a little bit. Let's see, these over here still have about 8 minutes left on them. However, the thing that you want to keep in mind is that we do have news coming up in about 9 minutes, guys. So I don't recommend taking any entries anytime soon. I'm expecting this news event to really push price, but I'm hoping it pushes price one direction or the other, and it doesn't just push price sideways. So I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. Looks like price might just consolidate a bit before we end up running into news here. Let's see, Fern over here said slipped on the first one. So Fern over here, total profit of 176.53. Nice work, Fern. We have Vincent over here. He took a sell earlier. Total profit of 71.61. Nice work, Vincent. And then we have Natasha over here. Total profit of 960. Natasha said on open, Maddie said he expected price to push up before coming back down. So she took the push up for 250 pips. Looks like she had some slippage though. Yeah, so she was supposed to lock in about 1,000, but she locked in 960. Nice work, Natasha. All right, so there's nothing here yet, guys. If price stays above, that's perfectly fine. But I think the main thing to look out for is going to be news price right here at 7 o'clock. So just wait for news price to push price, because once price gets to this point right here, I'm expecting price to have a heavy push to the upside or a heavy push to the downside, one or the other. All right. So we still have a rejection here on the 30. We don't have a rejection here on the 1 hour right now currently. Price still bouncing around. All right, 6:54. 5 minutes till news. Price is coming back down on the 1 minute. So you guys can see here where price typically comes back to, right? Whenever price pushes away, it typically comes right back to opening price. Opening price is always going to be like the middle magnet. This is baseline for US30 pretty much every morning. If you guys see when price kind of bounces around, it typically comes back to opening price as long as there's no overall direction, right? If there's an overall trend, price will typically push away from it. But if there isn't, price will just keep getting pulled back to this opening price until some sort of direction is set. So right now there's no overall trend. You know, right here on the 10 minutes currently neutral, or it's bearish, but it's not really below the pivots. However, the 5 minutes bullish and the 1 minute's bullish, right? So until there's a confirmation of direction, price is typically going to keep coming back and retesting the opening price right here. It's like the main thing to follow. So basically, if you guys are just following the opening price, whenever price pushes away, so price pushes above it, when it starts coming back down, you can aim for the opening price, right? If you're looking for speculative moves here, price pushes below, you see it correcting back up, pushes back to opening price, pushes back up, pulls back down to opening price. News is coming up here in about 4 minutes, guys. So I think that's the main thing we're looking for. We're just waiting for news here to pass. You can see volatility down here starting to die down, starting to slow down a little bit. So typically what happens when price starts to slow down like this, it's preparing for a breakout, right? You see volatility here starting to die down, price is starting to go sideways, starting to establish a range right here. So following this range here, we're expecting a breakout to happen at some point, right? Which is going to happen around this news price right here at 7 o'clock. See, Nick said huge SR zone below. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of SR zones down here because price hasn't pushed up here for a while. Price was kind of just ranging down here pretty much all morning, and then price finally pushed above. So we'll see what happens here. Let's see a little update from Peter. All right, a little update from the Ukrainian war. Yeah, so the war's still going on, guys. I feel like a lot of people forgot about the Ukraine war, but it's still going on pretty heavily. Moldova's government collapses. All right, let's see if that affects the market. Thanks, Peter, for the news. All right, so we got 3 minutes till news, guys. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want me to review anything, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we're just going to sit tight for the next couple minutes, wait for news here to pass, and then once news passes, we'll start looking for any possible entries. Hopefully, price pushes one way or the other. You know, pretty much all morning, this has just been a sideways movement, so it's been kind of dead for the most part. Looks like price is starting to push up. So if the 10-minute over here continues to stay above, then we may start looking for a buy. But at the moment, We just don't have anything right here just yet. Yeah. Christian said variations coming with red flags. Yeah, I would just wait, guys. Wait till 7 o'clock. We have 2 minutes till, or about 1 minute till 7. Just wait to see where price goes after this news event. Because typically, like, I don't recommend you guys trade news. I recommend if you guys do trade news, wait for price to react to it. Because the last thing you want to do is hop in for a buy, praying that price will push it up to your TP, and then price ends up doing the opposite, and then it shoots up to your TP. Because typically what happens, you'll see like a fake out reversal on the opening candle. So we got about 40 seconds till news, guys. Let's see where this ends up pushing price. Man, this whole week has been like pretty garbage, to be honest. I don't even know if we had any. Yeah, we had no official trades this whole week, guys. It's crazy. I don't think we've gone a week like this in a long time where there's no official trades. I mean, I made profits because I traded stuff on my own, but there's no official trades for this week so far. I can't remember the last time that's happened. But you guys have seen, if you guys have been on the live session this whole week, it hasn't been a smooth week. Price has been pretty much choppy every single day. So hopefully we can get one today. Okay, look, there's news price. It's dumping super heavy. Looks like it's correcting back down because obviously we had the sell correction here. Wick rejection off of 30 right there. And then the 1 hour doesn't have a wick rejection though. So just sit tight, guys. Price is coming down super heavy. I don't recommend just hopping into a trade for no reason. I mean, if you guys have some sort of strategy aligned with this drop, then go ahead and take your trade. But I don't recommend hopping into anything here for no reason, because price might just swing all the way back up. But there goes news candle there. It's kind of what I was anticipating. A one directional push. Thanks, Peter. Peter mentioned that news was neutral or positive and neutral. All right, so consumer sentiment was positive. Inflation expectations was neutral. All right, so price is back below. Let's see if price ends up staying below here. If not, then we'll see where it takes us. All right, so price is still bouncing around. I was hoping there'd be some sort of direction here, but there really isn't. Really wasn't too much of a direction. Price kind of just pushed up. I mean, pushed down, then pushed back up, and now we just got a sideways movement. Sorry, guys. Just gotta wait for some confirmation here. Let's see. D's asking, anyone trade Bitcoin futures? These charts look almost identical. I've actually never looked at Bitcoin futures before, D. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has traded it, but I've actually never looked at them before. Maddie mentioned open price seems to be the magnet target again. Yeah. Same here, Maddie. All right, so price starting to drop below. We just need this 10-minute here to confirm. So if this, I mean, this is a good thing. If price stays below here, then we can start looking for sells. I'm hoping it does, because I'm getting kind of frustrated with how the market's moving. There hasn't been a direction at all. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to stay below here on the 5, because we need that sell to confirm here. So what I'm looking for here on the 5 is I'm looking for price to stay below. If it can stay below, great. If not, then, you know, it's just, again, going to be another waiting game. But here on the 5, it looks like price may stay below here. If it closes below the pivots, or sorry, not the pivots, if it closes below the sessions, then I'm kind of looking for something like this: price drop below, retest, and continue, right? Same with this here on the 10. I want price to stay below here as well. It's just been a frustrating market, guys. You know, this type of market really makes or breaks a trader, because like being able to stay disciplined where you don't really take any trades for the whole week is really difficult for a lot of people, especially if you're a new trader, because a lot of new traders think that you have to trade every single day. You really don't. You need to wait for those perfect entries to come your way. Here we go, as price starts to swing back up. So we still don't have that confirmation yet. I'm just gonna keep analyzing this. I'm gonna keep analyzing this until you know, we get that confirmation. We just don't have anything yet. So here on the higher time frames, we don't really have much of a confirmation here either. On the 30, you still have the rejection here, but on the 10, you have a rejection below. So you have opposite confluences here. If we all had a rejection off the top end, that'd be great, but we obviously don't. You can see here price starting to swing all the way back up. As you mentioned earlier, magnet price point is the opening price. Price will fake out, come back to open. Price will fake out to the top, come back to open. Don't let this trick you guys, because the last thing you want to do is FOMO into a move, and then price ends up going complete opposite on you, right? I'm sitting on my hands right now. I actually turned off my copier because I didn't want to take a trade and then end up getting caught. So the way that I'm trading right now, guys, is I opened up an FTMO trial just to execute the trades on my FTMO quick trade manager, and then I have it copying to my MFF accounts. So right now I turned off my copier. If I want to play around with the market, I can always trade on the trial account. But at the moment right now, no entries. So it's just going to be a matter of time here. Van Hartwig's asking, it's just annoying if you need to pass the challenge. Yeah, so that's the key thing too, Van Hartwig. So if you need to pass the challenge, guys, you know, if you can't get as many trades as you need, just keep holding on and don't take any losses. Because if you can just hold on and just wait for those solid entries, then you'll get either an extension if you're close to passing. So the extension is about 14 days, I believe. So say, for example, you get close to your profit target, right? Say you're like at 5%. Then they'll extend you 14 days where you can possibly pass it. If you don't pass it within that period, it's perfectly fine, because you'll get a free retry. So my advice is, if you are in a challenge and you didn't get to your profit goal this week, don't rush it, because you guys can still get an extension or you'll get a free retry. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's no rush. Like whenever you guys are trading, there's never any rush. Yeah, exactly. Nick said, keep in mind they will extend and free retry over and over again until you get it. Yeah. So like that's the case too, Ben Harwood. If you don't pass your challenge right away, they'll give you a free retry. And then next time, another free retry, and another time free retry. There was a couple people in the group who had like 2 or 3 free retries, and then they finally passed, right? Because there's going to be some months where they're slower than others. This month is slow, right? It's this entire month is like super slow. Yeah, Nick said it took me 4 times one challenge. Exactly, Nick. Nick's like a prime example of like where this plays out. But anyways, looking back at the charts over here, guys, price is starting to shift back up. So, you know, this is why we didn't chase these sells here, because I mentioned, you know, there's no confirmation. If price stays above here and just continues to stay above here, then we may start to look for some buys here. So bottom rejection here on the 1, bottom rejection here on the 5, bottom rejection here on the 10. I think a price may be continuing to the upside. Bottom rejection here. Okay, so looking at this here, guys, we have a really strong confluence for possible buys here, right? we have a pretty strong confluence here for possible buys here. I mean, I wouldn't recommend entering right away and just risking it, but as you can see right here, looks like we may start looking for some buys because we have a bottom rejection here on the 10, bottom rejection on the 30, bottom rejection on the 1 hour. So, maybe for the next entry here, if we get a momentum scalp failure, my guess is that it'll probably play out. So what I'm looking for here, guys, is I'm looking for a sell signal to come up on the 1 minute. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this real quick because, we can possibly look for some possible buys here. But again, you want to be very, very patient about these entries because you don't want to just hop into a trade and then it ends up reversing on you. Target price point, again, if price ends up coming back down, is going to be opening price. So price does come back down for correction. This is the target price here. But if we get a sell signal and volumes below average, my guess is that price is going to continue pushing up higher. And the next target price point is actually going to be the sessions above. So if price continues pushing up, this is going to be the target above. But, you don't want to just jump the gun and hop in right away. But this is target price point if it does push up. So just keep an eye out for a sell signal here and keep an eye out for volume. Volume here is getting close to the average. Okay, so this volume is above average. Not a good look. I know, right, Christian? So let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, Maddie said might knock out liquidity above. Yeah, I can see that too. Allison said, at least you didn't blow through your accounts beforehand. Been there, done that. Allison's asking, you may have a video on this in the course, but what are the months in the year generally like? So market seasons. So high volatility in the winter, spring, fall. So that's going to be like January to May, then September to December, minus holidays. All right, so price pushed up. You guys can see where the target price point I mentioned before. I said if price ends up continuing up, target price point would be this Asia high right here, which it typically, obviously it hit. And then June to August. Yeah, so this is basically how the market seasons work, Allison. So like typically high volatility in the winter, spring, and fall, basically January till May, and then September till December, minus the holidays. Minus holidays because a lot of people go on vacation, specifically like the market makers and institutions. So volatility is not really there. Low volatility is going to be in the summer, June to August. So we'll try to keep applying these strategies during the summer. We're probably going to have to go for the smaller TP stop loss, the 100 pips at that point, because the volatility is going to be super slow. And we might have to toss in one more strategy, the SR rejection scalp. So this is typically how it moves. It's the same thing every year. Usually, the only time it was different was during COVID, because everyone was home during COVID, so everyone was trading. So yeah, I've been trading for about like 10 years now. So I've seen this market change like pretty much every year. It's pretty much the same, except for during COVID time, because during COVID, that was when everybody was home and everyone was kind of just trading all the time. Now that people are back to work, you just have like typically the professional traders trading, or people who are trading full time, like me and most of you guys. Yeah, Dejan said playing Hogwarts until market acts right. How do you like the game, Dejan? I was thinking about getting it, but I don't really have the attention span to play any of those like story games anymore. Like I got my PS5 and I can't stay focused for like more than an hour, more than a couple hours. So I wanted to play it, but I was like, I don't think I'll be able to stay focused enough to actually play it. So we'll see. Let me scroll up real quick. Ruin said sneaky analysis pays off again. Thank you, Sean. Definitely. Yeah, no problem, Ruin. So if you guys followed my analysis, looks like Ruin took the buy here, wrote it to the sessions. So solid work right there. We're still looking for a sell signal here. If we get a sell signal at any point, volumes below average, we'll probably have an entry for momentum scalp failure. However, looking over here, we do have a bullish bias now. So we're obviously looking for buys here. As you can see over here on the 10, 5, and 3, 1, 5, and 10, price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. This confirms a bullish trend here with regard to the shorter time frames. Looking on the higher time frames here, price is starting to attempt to make a shift. So the thing here that's really hinting me that price is likely to reverse is the fact that we have a wick rejection off all the time frames. The 1 hour here is rejecting off the pivot. 30 minutes rejecting off the pivot, 10 minutes rejecting off the pivot. So my guess right here is that, price has finally made that swing to the upside and we may have this continuation up. So I think price will probably be bullish for today. We're not just going to take any buy though. We're going to wait for an actual entry, right? So just got to be patient and wait for this confirmation to play out. The momentum scalp failure. We have a pending sell signal right here, but it's right on the session. So I consider it very risky. See if there's anything else here. Nice. Good to know, Dijon. Probably try it out. Ruin said, gotta run. Might try to get back on later. Thanks, Sean. Grateful for you. Yeah, definitely, Christopher. We'll see you back here on Monday, if not. So some profits over here from Alan. Alan's currently at 56.07 for the day. Nice work, Alan. So solid profit right there. We have Rashida over here, total profit of 324 for the day. Nice work, Rashida. All wins on her first account. And then her second account over here, she's currently 693 for the day. Solid work right there, Rashida. We have Jenny over here. She took a trade last night. Total profit of 1,548 for the day. Nice work, Jennifer. And then we have Patricia over here. Total profit of 1,270 for the day. Solid work right there, Patricia. Let's see. I think that's it for right now. And then Alan locked in some more profit. Total profit of 111. And 63 cents. Solid work right there, Alan. All wins, no losses. All right, let me check the YouTube real quick, see if there's any questions here. Sorry, let me go to the Zoom real quick. So Dijon's asking, that was a high-low, Maddie. I seen it, but didn't know if the candle wick had already tested the previous. Yeah, so if you're following the original high-low scalp strategy, guys, this wouldn't have been a high-low scalp because it already tested it on the previous one. There's a lot of red flags here. So this right here, it tested it already. And then on top of that, price was at the session. So, and the candle was too big. So I wouldn't have considered that a high-low scalp because, there's so many things there indicating not to take it. But I know some people, they still take it even though it tested. So I think it just depends, Dijon. Depending on how you're applying the high-low scalp. For my specific way of applying it, the high-low scalp. So the requirement here is that this is the one that you're referring to, John. Confirm price has not touched previous swing before break and close. So yeah, technically no entry off that there. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Maddie took so the way that Maddie took it, he took it a different way. Dejan. There's a way that Maddie and Sisu take it. It's a small variation to it. So like basically see how price tested it right here. What Maddie and Sisu do sometimes, and this isn't like an official way of trading it, but you know, I've done it myself. It's more of like a liquidity push type of trade. So like what they do is they wait for price to test it. If it fails, it comes back up right here. When price comes up to that same line, they enter the buy right there and they just write it up. So they take it as a liquidity push. It's like a small variation to the high-low scalp. As you guys can see, like all my strategies, there's different variations of applying it. The way that Maddie and Sisu applied it right here is not the same way that the original strategy is applied. That's why you'll see like a lot of the strategies here. There's always a variation to it because so whenever you see something like that happen right there, Dejan, it's like a retest, right? It's a retest and it has volatility there. So like, for example, the time I would take that is if it retests and then the volume here is above average. Because if it's above average, odds of it pushing right through is very likely, right? So of course, this is going to blast right through it. And if you're only going for 100 pips, that's an easy 100 pips right there. So that's like another way of people applying it. I don't really apply it that way, but if I was trading by myself solo, I could take those trades without having to explain it to anybody. Yeah, so Maddie caught that, Natasha caught that, and Sisu caught that. No, solid work, guys. Natasha said she thought that's how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, no, that's like a more advanced way of trading because you have to really be paying attention to a lot of different moving pieces here. Don't worry, guys, if you guys haven't taken anything, there's no entries here yet. We're looking for that sell signal to come up here on the 1 minute. Once we have that sell signal, we'll have a possible entry over here for a momentum scalp failure, but we just don't have that yet. Let's see. Jay's asking, what if you're in profit on the second phase of the challenge, but don't pass the overall trading days? You go back to phase one? Yeah, that's what happens. So if you're in the verification stage and you don't reach your profit goal, because it's like, it doesn't really make sense for someone to be trading for that long, right? The verification stage is 60 days. So it shouldn't take you 60 days to make 5%, right? So like, obviously, like this guy's obviously not ready because he probably dug himself a hole and then he had to bring himself back up. But at that point, you do get a free retry, but they send you back to phase one. Kevin said he thinks it's going to come back down. He thinks just a pullback off the overall bearish trend, but who knows? Yeah, honestly, I don't know either, Kevin. I mean, right now it currently looks bullish to me, but I mean, who knows? It might come back down. So looking at this right here on the 1 hour, you do have a wick rejection off the structure. So here's the thing that I'd be looking out for, guys. In the next 8 minutes, if this 30-minute candle here rejects off this pivot, so once this candle here closes at 7:30, if this here doesn't close above the pivot, I'm expecting price to come right back down. Yeah, no, you're good, Jay. JC didn't know it was 60 days. So some profits over here from Maddie. Maddie's currently up 1,360 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. Yeah, Maddie said he merged his 250Ks and on a 100K now. So he's still got another 100K he's working on and then onto his 200K. Yeah, solid work right there, Maddie. Currently up 1,360 for the day, all wins. Sisu over here currently at 5,510. Nice work, Sisu. All right, so let's see what else we got over here. Let's see, question from Diamond Brown. Diamond Brown's asking, what broker do you use? So I mainly use FTMO. I'm currently waiting for my 400K count though, so I'm not using them right now. They take about 4 days to process my account. I had two 200K accounts. I had to redo the challenge because I had a new email. So they're I'm just waiting for it to pass. Let me see if I have it over here. How many days has it been? Damn, it's only been 2 days. I feel like it's been forever. So yeah, looking over here, it says FTMO account agreement. Thank you, Sean, for completing the contract and signing the FTMO agreement, resulting in your past verifications for both the accounts. Since I'm waiting for a 400K account, takes up to four business days since the email is sent. It's only been 2 days. So I'm waiting for that to send out. So my main account here is going to be for FTMO. It's not a broker, it's a funding company. So I don't know if you're familiar with FTMO, but my main account is FTMO. At my other funding company that I traded with is MFF. I used to trade with TFF, but I don't trade with them anymore. I just have one account that's sitting there. I'm probably gonna take some YOLO moves on that trade, on that account, and see where it goes. Because you know, they're not really friendly with scalpers, so it's not really worth the risk for me. Other than that, my other personal account, I have a Henko trade account, and then I have a Hugo's account. I don't use my Hugo's anymore too much. I mainly use my Henko if I'm trading my personal account. So that's pretty much what I use. I use FTMO for my main account. It's not a broker, it's a funding company. Then I use MFF, which is also a funding company. And then I have TFF, which I don't typically use very much because they're not really good with scalpers. And then I have a Henko trade, which I currently use sometimes. And then my other account is at Hugo's Way. So those are like all of the brokers and companies that I use. Glenn's asking, are all the members in the Telegram group already funded? I think the majority of them are, should be. Let's see. Natasha's asking, did anyone take the variation? Yeah, so Natasha over here took the variation that Price came up with. I totally missed it, guys. Sorry, I wasn't even looking at the chart here. I was answering questions, but there was a momentum scalp failure right here that came up. Yeah, I totally missed it. You probably would want to use a 1030 split right here. This was a moment. Let me just reanalyze it real quick. So confirm overall trend. We currently have a bullish trend, right? Trend over here is bullish on the 5-minute and 10-minute prices above the pivots. Trend meters green, pivots are angling up. So we have a momentum scalp failure right here, which already hit full TP. And then there's technically a momentum scalp variation that's currently running right now. I'm not in any of these positions right here, guys. Let me just reanalyze everything real quick. I think there was a buy signal here, right? So there's a buy signal here on the 5, buy signal here on the 10. I mean, this market today is just kind of iffy. It's not really moving very smooth. For this one right here, I would probably use a 2550 for the momentum scalp failure, because looking at the range over here, I think 1030 is a little too close. Let me check this one. For the momentum scalp failure, I think the 1030 is fine if you're going for 100 pips. But I think for the momentum scalp variation, because price was already above here, this would have been too close. So I would have used a 2550 on this one. So this one's still technically running. I'm not in any of these positions right now. I'm thinking if I'm going to take this for a late entry. Yeah, let me see if I could hop into this for a late entry. Because I do think price will push back up. But this momentum scalp variation is still technically running. It's at 250. So what I'll probably do here is I'll set a buy stop here. When price pushes up, you know, I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to let price come and fill my order. If price comes back up right here, then I'll I'll just ride this up to that point there. Let me check the higher time frames real quick. So this is where it's getting kind of tricky. I think this is why I wasn't really looking for entry, because looking at this 30-minute over here, I was kind of waiting for this to close above it, right? So I was waiting for price to close above this, because if price closes below this pivot and it rejects off it, then it's going to be iffy, because you have double rejections here. You have rejection off the top, and then you have a rejection off the bottom. So you don't really have a strong confirmation as to like where price is likely to go. And then again, as I mentioned today, guys, Friday is like one of the riskiest days to trade. Friday and Monday are the worst days to trade, because you get a lot of this uncertainty. A lot of people are pulling out of the market for the weekend, and you don't know when the price is finally going to come back down. You know, price is still bearish here on the higher time frame. It's bearish on the 30, it's bearish on the 1. It is bullish here on the higher time frames, but it's not necessarily a smooth move. So let me see this over here. I'm just going to push this over here because I'm not in the position. I have a pending order here. So if it fills my order, great. If it doesn't, I'm just going to close it out. See, Dejan here said he had a high low on entry and entered a pre-market, then took a little bit off momentum scalp. So Dejan over here is currently at 435 for the day. Nice work, Dejan. Yeah, solid profits right there. All right, so my trade still hasn't filled, guys. Still waiting for it to fill. Here, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go and put an alert here so that I can know when it fills, so I can pay attention to it. I don't want to keep jumping between charts. So variation filled. All right, got my alert set up right there. Pretty much just waiting for this to play out. See what it looks like over here on the 30. Okay, so the 30 rejected off it. I think price will push up. Looks like the order is now filled. All right, there we go. We're pushing in a profit. Natasha said she hit her TP already. Solid. See, Maddie said he had a buy stop. Slippage entered him at a higher. Damn, it sucks, Maddie. Yeah, so I'm taking this with a low risk, guys. I'm only taking this with like a 1% risk, because it's just today's Friday, the market's just moving kind of slow. So I took this with a smaller risk today. I'm gonna let it run. I don't really care too much about what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna let it play out. I just kind of wanted to take a trade today. This is let me just reanalyze everything here. This does fit the criteria though, so I think it's fine. But I'm taking a 1% risk, so it's not really a big deal for me. Like whatever happens, happens. See, the only problem here that I'd be kind of curious about would be this 1 hour time frame, because it's rejecting off the top and bottom. Here on the 30-minute, it didn't reject off the top and bottom, it just rejected off the bottom here. So that's why I'm kind of okay with it. And then again, right here, the following candle. I think this might take a while to push up. It might push up a little later, like closer to 8. But I'm taking a 1% risk here, so I'm not really too worried about it. You know, if it plays out, it plays out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's how you guys should approach your trades. If you guys don't over leverage and you guys use okay risk, then you guys are fine, right? Because I'm taking a 1% risk on this. So, if you multiply you do the math, I have a $200,000, 200K account on MFF times 1%. I'm only risking 2,000. It's not very much. If I was to get caught in this, then I just needed like one trade to make it back using my normal lot sizing. So yeah, just going to sit tight, let it play out, and then whatever happens, happens. Because the thing is, like, I wasn't even sure if this was going to play out properly because it's such a late entry. Yeah, I'm taking a 1% risk on this. So we'll see. Whenever you guys don't feel comfortable about a position, just lower your risk, especially if you're trading on a Friday or a Monday, because it's typically how the market's going to move. And this whole week's been kind of off anyways. So I'll just put an alert down there as well. Low risk on this trade. I don't even know if anyone else took this trade with me, but yeah, I'm in it. It's still running right now. So we'll see where this ends up going. But I mean, everything over here is looking kind of okay. Not super great, but it's looking okay. 10-minute here is bullish. 30-minute here is still, this is why it's kind of risky because the higher time frames are still bearish, right? Looking over here on the 30-minute and the 1-hour time frames, this one right here is bearish still, and this is still bearish. So it doesn't align with the lower time frames, but our entries are taken on the lower time frame. So just looking at this here, I'm just going to show you everything else on the 5 and 10. This here is still pretty bullish, right? 10-minute here is bullish. 5-minute here is bullish. 1-minute here is also bullish. So the criteria is still met for the entry. We don't necessarily base anything off the higher time frames. But, you know, that's just how we're going to play it out. So price is pushing back up right here. Couple confluences here that are looking good for the most part. Trying the sessions over here. Yeah. So the thing that I'm kind of like okay with here, where I'm looking at the trade is that we have a rejection off the sessions right here on the 10. We have a rejection off the sessions right here on the 5. So I'm just using these confluences to boost my confidence with the position. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Natasha only took it for 100 pips. That's why she got in and out super quickly. Yeah, no, it's cool. If you only went for 100 pips, I mean, you probably hit your TP right away. Let's see. And this market sucks. This whole market this week was just trash. It wasn't so good. I think if and when price pushes up, I'm probably just gonna move my stop loss and profit. Just because like the market's really not moving too smooth. The volatility here has died down a lot. You guys can see the volume here it's not really doing anything. It's just going sideways. Let's see what we got here. Nelly posted his profits. So Nelly right here took the buy with us, but he only went for 100 pips or less. So he actually got pulled out already. So Nelly over here took the same trade that we took here. He only went for 100 pips, locked in 870 for the day. Nice work, Nelly. So solid profits right there from Nelly. Natasha over here as well. She did the same thing, went only for 100 pips. She locked in a total profit of 1,408 for the day. Nice work, Natasha. So yeah, if you guys are not comfortable with the position, you guys can pull out right here in profit. It's back in profit right now. Or if you want to pull out for 100 pips, you can do that as well to move your TP closer. It's just up to your preference, right? Again, like I mentioned, guys, I'm only risking 1%. So I'm not too worried about this position. I'm going to let it push up a little bit. And then when it pushes up a little further, I'm going to move my stop loss and profit, maybe like to break even or above it. So Eunice over here also took the buy. It looks like a lot of you guys here only went for 100 pips. So Eunice here, a lot of people took the same trade, but they already pulled out in profit. Eunice locked in 430 and 50 cents for the day. Nice work, Eunice. Maria here as well. She only went for 100 pips, locked in $52 for the day. Nice work, Maria. All right, cool. So it looks like a lot of you guys here actually took the same trade I took, but you guys only went for 100 pips, so went up and blasted right through your TP. The trade's still running, but it's going back and forth. There's no real direction here. Since I'm taking it with such a low risk, I'm just holding on to it because there's just like, I mean, there's a point of me pulling out, but like realistically, if it hits or if it doesn't, it's not gonna make or break my account. It's just gonna it's just gonna keep, it's not really gonna affect me too much. So I'm holding on to the position right now. I already knew this position was going to be risky. That's why I kind of took it with a smaller risk. But just looking at it here, a couple confluence here that are making it look good. I think the main thing here would be this rejection off of 30, but it has like 20 minutes left on it. So it has a lot of time before we can have some sort of confirmation. So if you guys were worried about the position, hopefully you guys pulled out in profit already. If not, and you guys took proper risk with the trade, just hold on to it. Typically, like I recommend that you guys risk 1 to 3% per trade. If you guys don't feel comfortable, take a 1% risk. If you feel very confident about a position, take a 3% risk. I wasn't confident about this because I saw it super late, right? The position was already running. And then I saw it later and I was like, okay, I'll just put a buy stop there and I'll just let it fill as price continues to move along. Because technically this trade's been running since where has it been running from? Been running since here. So this trade, technically these trades are supposed to run for a few minutes. And this trade here has been running for like almost 20 minutes now, which is way too long for a scalp, right? Scalp's not supposed to take 20 minutes. It's supposed to hit within the first few minutes, hit or not hit within the first few minutes. But now it's just been holding on and going sideways for this whole time. Yeah, Sam said he didn't like it, so we ended up pulling out with $81 profit. That's good. That's solid, Sam. Profit's profit. So it's just up to you guys how you guys want to handle it. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not taking a big risk, so I don't really care. I'm just going to let it run, play out. And then if price starts to push up a little higher, then I'll move it into profit. I just don't want to move it too close because it's going to pull me out in profit or at break even right away. I think if that buy signal closes, then it'll be it'll give it that push that it needs. But this is how you guys should approach all of your trades, right? You should never enter a trade and then feel nervous and then feel all like jumpy about a position. Whenever you feel you take a position, you should be okay with it, whether it hits or whether it doesn't, because you guys have to understand that wins happen and losses happen. So right there, I did hit my stop loss, unfortunately, but I only took a 1% risk. Not a big deal. I could have pulled out for profit up here, but it's okay. I only lost 2,000 on that trade, so it's not a huge impact to my account. Yeah, that's Friday for you. So, all right, guys, we're done with that trade right there. We're going to wait for the next one. Hopefully we'll have another better one that comes up, but we just never had, the market hasn't really been moving smooth this entire week. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes all the way back up and goes right to TP. But yeah, it spiked me out right here. I lost about 2,000 on that trade. So just being transparent with you guys, I did eat the loss on this. Not a huge loss, but a loss, altogether. Let's see. So Will over here, let's see what Will did. He said he took the buy beforehand before my entry triggered, and he's done for the day. So Will over here also pulled out early, locked in a total profit of 175.50. So solid work right there, Will. Nice. Yeah, so worked out for him right there. Let's see. Jessica's asking what lot size for a 1% and a 3% trade. So it's in the course, Jessica. Let me pull it up for you real quick. So if you look at the course over here, or if you pull up the course, I have a module for lot sizing. So let me go over here real quick. Curriculum. See, Martha over here said she pulled out early. So it looks like majority of you guys here pulled out early. So if you guys didn't feel comfortable about the position, you guys should have pulled out early. Like I mentioned, you guys had about a bunch of opportunities here to pull out early for profit. Martha over here, she locked in $70. So $70 is fine. It's better than having a loss, right? But if you're taking such a low risk, like for me specifically, I'd rather just let it run, because that's the only way that you'll be able to build your trade psychology. Taking trades and letting them run. But we're going to count that as a loss for today. So don't worry, guys. It's going to be counted as a loss. I just want to be transparent with you guys 100% so that you guys understand that losses do happen and you guys just have to accept them and not let it eat into your trade psychology. So Jessica, if you go over here to the course, if you scroll down to module 5, if you're on FTMO, it says 1 to 3% risk. So Right here, I mentioned for scalp trades, you're generally risking about like 300 to 500 pips per trade. For this specific trade, you're risking 500 pips. And it says right here, lot size you should be using for 200K FTMO count, scalp trade with 500 pips stop loss should be no larger than 120 lot size. Personally, I use 60 for the FTMO trades, which equates to 1.5% risk. So 60 would be for a 1.5% risk. I took actually smaller than that. I think I took 65 actually. Or no, 60. Let me see. I think I used a 50. Let me just do the math over here on the old thing. 55, I believe. Man, I hate this quick trade manager. It always glitches on me. One second. Not 55, I think 60. What was it? Yeah, I personally took a oh no, sorry. Okay, that's what I forgot to do. I changed the sorry guys. I don't know if you guys have this issue, but every time I type into my FTMO quick trade manager, it just deletes the numbers. Yeah, it was a 50 lot size. Or less than that, 45. I use a 50, so I risked a little more than 1%. I risked about 2,500 because I thought that was a number. But if you want to go for like exactly a 1% risk, then you'd use a 40 lot size, I believe. Yeah, 40. So yeah, Jessica, if you were to trade, and you can just put it into your FTMO quick trade manager. When you put the lot size and the stop loss, it'll show you how much you're risking. 1% of 200,000 is 2,000. So if you use a 50 lot size, it'd be or a 40 lot size, it'd be a $2,000 risk. I used a 50, so I was a little bit above it. It's like half of my normal lot size. I lost 2,500, so just a little bit above it. I don't know how much risk is that. Let's see. 2,500 divided by 200,000. Yeah, 1.25% risk, so 1.25 risk. So not too much. The thing that you guys have to understand too is that you can risk 5% per day. So if you're doing a 1.5% risk per trade, there's no way you're going to blow your account, right? And then if you're doing a what's it called? If you're doing a 3% risk, I mean, you're still below that range. So that's the lot size you would use, Jessica. You use about a 40 lot if you want to do a 1% risk. I used a 50 lot, so I'm a little bit above it, but it wasn't like horrible. Yeah, no problem, Jessica. All right, guys. So I was hoping to see if we could find another entry here, but I don't really see anything here. I probably should have just not taken that trade. The thing is, I wanted to take a trade so bad this week that I just took the trade there, even though I shouldn't have, because I know I wasn't in that position to begin with. So with that said over here, I didn't even have any of these positions to begin with, but I ended up hopping into that trade there. I should have went for just 100 pips. I just went for the bigger one because I figured, okay, the range here is a lot wider. But let me see. If we took that trade there with a 1030, I think that's what a lot of you guys did. Yeah, this one right here. So if you entered here late for the 100 pips, you would have hit your TP. That's pretty much what happened with the majority of people. I went for the full move, which is fine. The range here was starting to, I mean, looking back at it, it was kind of a dumb decision because looking at this right here, price was actually ranging. So price was ranging right here. I probably should have only went for the 100 pips because price was ranging here. I was pretty much measuring it to the wicks. So from this entry right here, no, I take that back. 2550 was a proper one because looking at this here, this range was still farther enough. Like if I was to take a trade here with 300 pips, I still would have put in some high risk because it'd be too close. So no, I take that back. Well, I would have still used the 2550 and I would just let it run. All right, so I don't think there's going to be any other entries here, guys. I was looking for another entry here, but I don't see anything coming up here. Price we need to push up here, close above here, and then retrace, and then continue. But I don't really see anything here playing out. It's all good. I mean, last week and the week before that were pretty decent weeks, so you got to roll with it. Let me see. So looking over here real quick, let's check. Patrick over here posted some profits. Yeah, Christian over here held it too. So we took a $2,000 risk. Perfectly fine, Christian. Same risk as me. And then same with Patrick over here. So it looks like these are the only two guys that held it with me. Thanks for trusting the position, guys. But we ended up eating a small loss. At least it wasn't a big one. Christian here lost 2,000. Patrick lost 1,400. So it's all good. Yeah, Maddie too. Maddie said he took it, lost 2K off the trade. Yeah, that's fine. You'll make it back. Yeah, exactly. On to the next one. I was hoping there'd be a next one here, Maddie, but I don't think there will be. I was looking to offset it, and then take a normal lot size trade, but I don't think we're going to get it anytime soon. Yeah, Maddie said he's done for the day. Jessica said she took it on her demo account, lost some money today, but she loves the learning experience through it all. Yeah, you gotta learn everything through trial and error. I think the good thing is, Jessica, that since you're on a demo, take as many losses as you can now so that you know the feeling of losing, so that you don't want to have that feeling again in the future, right? So like for me, I rarely lose like maybe once a month or like twice a month. But then once I have that loss knocked out, I'm pretty much having a winning streak the rest of the month. So looking at the results for this year so far. Yeah, looking at the results for this year so far. So I had 2 losses in January. I had 1 loss in February. I have 1 more loss today, of course. So I just have 2 losses for pretty much per month. But 17 wins in January, 7 wins, 2 losses in February. So I think we're doing pretty solid. I lost 1% on this one trade, so I'm down to like 13.25% for the year. So I mean, you look at the bigger picture. You eat those losses, move on to the next one, and just continue going. Yeah, exactly. Sam said, yeah, I agree. 25,500 was a right size. Didn't like it. Saw the lower lows, and then he pulled out. Yeah, because Sam over here was also in the position. He pulled out early, locked in $80, which is fine. $80 is profit. But yeah, no, everything was. This whole setup here was lined up perfectly. I think the main thing for today was just the fact that today was Friday, and also a lot of this iffy movement here on the higher time frames, because the higher time frames here were still bearish. That's something that I typically like to align with my trades too. Like for example, if I'm looking for a trade here on the short time frames, I want it to align with the higher time frames here, but there just was no alignment. Direction of price was just going sideways pretty much all day. Let me go over here and check the calendar real quick. I want to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. What do we have next week? So next week we have, I don't really see much news for, okay, we have CPI, we have inflation news next week, high impact news next week, a lot of CPI, core CPI, Fed members speaking, regarding CPI. Wednesday, we have core retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing Index, retail sales. Thursday, we have core PPI, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, unemployment claims. And then Friday, it's a clear day. So I think next week will be a lot more directional. We have like the high impact inflation news coming out at 5:30 on Tuesday. That's going to definitely push price. So I think hopefully we'll have some sort of direction next week. If you guys remembered, like if you guys have been trading with me for a while, typically there's like one crappy week out of the month, right? I think this is the crappy week because there hasn't been much direction. And then today wasn't much direction either, but we try to force a trade here, which didn't play out, which is completely fine. But yeah, other than that, guys, I don't really see much. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. We can analyze whatever you guys need help with. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping this up soon as we get closer to 8. There's just nothing for us to take here. Looking back on the short time frames, you can see here price is coming right back down. this is kind of what I was expecting. So I wasn't really expecting price to hold up because the higher time frames were still bearish. But when I saw the rejection here on the bottom, I was like, okay, this is probably going to be beneficial for us. But it really wasn't. Price came up and then it just ended up flatlining right here and then coming back down. So in my perspective, if you guys were like listening to my analysis earlier, I was really banking on the sell here. I was waiting for price to come back down and confirm. But, you know, I guess FOMO got the best of me because I just really wanted to take an entry today. So it's all good. But yeah, let me see if there's anything else for me to look at here. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin said his analysis for the price to drop played out. Yeah, no, exactly. And that was kind of what I was looking for too, Kevin. You can see where price came back right here on the 1 minute. It came right back down to opening price. As I mentioned earlier today, whenever price is ranging like this and it's not really moving directional in the direction that you want, always look at opening price. Opening price is typically going to be the magnet, right? Because the thing is, the higher time frames here is still bearish. So with these still being bearish over here, if price was correct back down, target price point would be opening price, of course. And that's basically what happened. Yeah, definitely, Gary. See you back here on Monday. Yeah, Sam said textbook move on the 15-minute bearish engulfing, but hindsight is 2020. Yeah, exactly. So Sam over here identified this right here. You saw the bearish engulfing, then price came right back down. Yeah, I mean, I can see it right here on the 10 too. I mean, it's not really a rejection off it, but on the 10, this is actually a variation V1 double body right there. So on the 10-minute, there's a variation V1 double body, and then price ended up coming down from there. But as you can see right here on the 10, price again is rejecting off the pivot. You know, I think price will continue pushing up, guys. I think this right here is just a temporary drop again, and I think price will just correct right back up. Because looking over here on the 10, price is rejecting off the pivot. I mean, basically, you just have to wait for these here to close. I think if you waited till 8 o'clock and for this here and this here to close, then price would likely, you know, swing right back up. So, all right, guys, Maria said, happy weekend, team. It's about to be 8 o'clock. So, guys, I don't think there's any reason for you guys to continue trading. It's Friday. So just call it a weekend, you know, eat that loss. If you guys ate the loss, if you guys took a win, close out your accounts and just be good for the week. For this week so far, I'm technically in profit, but for the official trades, we're at a loss for this week. So you guys can see for this week, I did take some of my own trades. So I'm in profit. That's why I didn't really care about the position either. I took it for a 1% risk. I was already in profit like 5,000 from yesterday. And then the day before that, I was already in profit, you know, 3,000 across these accounts. So I was heavily in profit this week. I actually turned off my copier. So I don't even have the trades on my copier. I only lost 2,000 off one account today. So I'm currently up a lot. I locked in 3,000 the other day, 2,000 the other day, 2,000 the other day, 1,500 the other day. So I was pretty much up pretty heavily this entire week. But I took one trade for today, which had the loss. I lost 2,000. So I'm still technically net positive for the week. But for the results, we're a negative. It's a red week for the results because I don't count my personal trades as results. So even though I took a win last night during Asia session, I'm not going to count that trade. I locked in 1,000 off that, but I'm not going to count that. I'm just going to count the loss. I want to be transparent with you guys and show you guys that, you know, there's a way to bounce back from this. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. You can email me at sean@kodikaitrades.com. Otherwise, you guys can message me on Telegram. My handle is @KodiKaiTrades. And I think that's about it. So, all right, guys, if you guys have anything else, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here on Monday for the next live session as we reopen for the trading week. So, all right, guys, catch you guys then. Have a great weekend. Be safe.